entered into a contract? Yes or no? So aside from reading the case of Trillanes versus Honorable Pimentel, there is also a jurisprudence that says in the case of People versus Maceda, it says that let it be stressed that all prisoners, whether under detention or under preventive detention or serving sentence, cannot practice their profession or engage in any business or occupation or hold office, elective or appointive. That is what the case of People versus Maceda tells us. That's a sweeping prohibition. That's a sweeping prohibition. That is why it was tempered in the case of Trillanes versus Pimentel. And what does it say? What does it say? These limits, however, must be taken into account only to the extent that confinement restrains the power of locomotion or actual physical movement. Meaning to say, if that could still be possible without so much use of its physical movement, so that could still be done. In this particular case, if I am not mistaken, Trillanes also has used that doctrine in administrative law that your re-election is considered a condonation of your previous act. Can that also be done, or can that also be used, yes or no? I would like to emphasize that administrative case is different from a criminal case. And that doctrine, that your winning in your re-election is considered a condonation of your previous administrative charge is never applicable in a criminal case. So take note. So please, read carefully the case of Trillanes versus Pimentel. Section 14 also says that no senator or member of the House of Representatives may personally what? May personally appear as counsel before any court of justice or before electoral tribunal. If you'll be checking the president is absolutely barred from holding any public or private office other than the position for which he is elected. So total, it's an absolute ban for the president. It's also an absolute ban kanino? Also absolute ban sa members ng cabinet. Also absolute ban kanino? Vice President. But as regards members of Congress, senator, and members of the House of Representatives, especially if they are lawyers, although in a limited case, but still, there is still the possibility that they could practice their profession as a lawyer. Because the prohibition only in Section 14 of Article 6 only refers to personal appearance, take note, personal appearance in court or in any quasi-judicial tribunal or before any or before the electoral tribunal. But the question now is, what do you mean by personal appearance? Does it mean appearing in court as audience or at least to give moral support to one of the parties? Would that be considered the appearance being contemplated in this provision? So what do you mean by personal appearance? What do you mean by this? Meaning to say what? Appearing as counsel. And when we say appearing as counsel, it presupposes that you are representing one of the parties. You are representing one of the parties, and that is not allowed. In fact, this is already a very old example during the time of the Visconti proceedings, where late Senator Cayetano was the private prosecutor then of the Visconti massacre. But during the pendency of the case, he was elected as senator, so he drew as the private prosecutor. But during the promulgation, he made an appearance. During the promulgation of sentence, he was present as a senator already. Would that not be considered a violation, yes or no? Answer no more, because he was there just an audience, just a spectator, and never representing any of the parties. If I am not mistaken, also found in the case, found in your book rather, here is a case, here is a particular congressman has already committed, to help a what? A particular set of officers in a particular corporation, because there are two sets of officers. He has already committed to help a set of officers, especially in the proceedings before the Securities and Exchange Commission. But later on, he realized that there is this constitutional provision that he could not personally appear as counsel in any one of these parties. So what he did is, he bought a minimal shares of stock dito sa corporation, because he would now be intervening not anymore as a counsel, but he would now be intervening as a person in interest doon sa conflict in the corporation, being among the shareholders. Anong sabi ng ating Korte Suprema? The buying of that minimal shares is just an afterthought. Take note. Just to make himself what? Actively participate in the what? In that particular proceeding. So what the Constitution prohibits directly cannot be done indirectly. So please read the case. If I am not mistaken, that is the case of what? That is the case of... Okay, so please read. I think that has something to do with Assemblyman Fernandez. Okay. He should not also be directly interested financially in any contract with or any franchise or special privilege granted by the government. So he cannot be entered into a contract with the government. Especially if he will be gaining what? Pecuniary advantage or pecuniary benefit from it. But is there a possibility that you may also be a party to a contract, to this contract? Yes, that is only allowed if you are representing the government. Pero if you are on the other side, you are not allowed because there is a possible conflict of interest. Supposing you are a member of the GSIS and you have contracted a loan before the GSIS. Gusto mampalan, senador ka, mautang ka sa GSIS, gusto mampalan. So is that not considered entering into a contract with a government-owned and controlled corporation? Would that not be a violation of this constitutional provision that you should not be financially interested in any contract with the government? That's a contract with the government, di ba? Could we not consider that a violation? Yes or no? Why not? Why not? Will you reap any pecuniary benefit from it? Yes, sir. The proceeds, di ba? I could use it. Oh, anybody? Is there any pecuniary benefit or pecuniary advantage that you could get if you would be contracting loan before the GSIS or before the SSS? Yes or no? There is none. Why? First, it will even benefit the government because it generates what? It what? There is the accrual of interest, di ba? And second, you'll be paying it. So it's never what? It's never a pecuniary advantage. Pero kung makontrata ka, influensyahan mo, may kickback ka, so that is certainly falls within the prohibition. That certainly falls within the prohibition. You should not also, take note, intervene in any matter before any office of the government for the pecuniary benefit or where he may be called upon to act on account of his office. Ang narito po kasi for pecuniary benefit. Kaya natural dito sa ating burokrasyang yung tinatawag na, in fact, admitted already, yung tinatawag na padrino system. Pwede, kung ngayon yung tao politika. It's okay ngayon that I what? It's okay that I lobby for him. But I did not what? But I did not get any pecuniary benefit in doing so. So without any what? Without any violation to this constitutional provision. Yung problema natin, di ba? Yung problema, we could always what? We could always escape, from the provision of law. Kaya nga, nag-argue si Senator Trillanes at si Senator Enrile. Sabi niya, hindi natin pwedeng pakialaman ang mga pribadong kontrata ng MWSS, di ba? Especially sa mga concessionaires, because these are private contracts and the Constitution is so categorically saying that non-impairment of contract clause. Would that be okay? We cannot deny the fact that water also is a what? That is among the specifics of what? Of public welfare, where we could exercise police power. Kaya galit na naman. Sino? Galit na naman si Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago. He must understand that it's never absolute, di ba? It's not absolute, especially if the exception falls within the specifics of this where we could exercise police power. Water supply is indispensable in life, di ba? Where it can always be what? Can always, and so that people in consuming the same would not be so much prejudiced, police power of the state can also be utilized. So that's never absolute. That's never absolute. But that's the rule. Private contracts should be beyond, state intervention because that is a constitutional provision. So take note. Please read this important case. Sessions also. And I also would like to emphasize that when we say privilege from arrest, privilege from speech and debate, we have already settled that while Congress is in session. So we have already clarified that practically it's after the end of it's until the end of its term. Because when we say session, if I am not mistaken, as unlocked by Justice Rules, it starts from the initial convening up to the final adjournment of Congress. So take note, they are absolutely immune from being arrested, especially if the imposable penalty does not exceed 6 years. Does not exceed. Session. So we have regular session, we have a special session. How many regular sessions do we have in every term? There are 3 regular sessions in every term for a 3-year term. And usually, you will know that another regular session has again commenced because the President usually delivers his State of the Nation address. So that is the commencement of the regular session of Congress. That's the commencement of the regular session of Congress. But while there is a regular session, the President also, again, one way or one of the instances where the President may actively participate in the legislative process is the privilege given to the President to call a special session at any time. Take note, to call a special session at any time. So it could also be joint or it could also be a separate. So in joint session assembled, but voting separately, one of the examples is what? In choosing a what? In choosing a president. So that is one way. What else? In what? In the determination of president's disability. What else? Huh? Confirmation of the nomination by the president of the vice president. What else? Declaration of the state of war. But I would like to emphasize of all these instances that you have mentioned, while session is joint, but the voting is separate. Take note, the voting is separate. What else? Amending the Constitution. Amending the Constitution? You know, class, it's not proper to say amending the Constitution. Because when we say amending the Constitution, it has two processes. It has two stages. The first one is proposal. The second one is ratification. So there can only be considered amendment or revision if these two stages have already complied with. So proposal and ratification. So if you would want to propose amendment to the Constitution, Congress there is in joint session. Yes or no? Congress is in joint session. And what is the required number of votes? 3/4. Pero there is also, if I am not mistaken, there is also that majority. What is that majority? Aside from 3/4, meron din diyang majority. Yung 3/4, if they would want to propose amendment to the Constitution by Constituent Assembly, yeah, it requires 3/4. How about yung majority? If they want to what? If they want to pass to the people the issue of calling for a constitutional convention. So it requires what? It requires majority vote. But the question now is, what is the voting? Separate or joint? Again, principle of checks and balances, separate voting. Principle of checks and balances, separate voting. What is adjournment sine die? Ito, kung maunig diyan mga kongresistata, tanong nga ni, iyo man ang panahon na pigtutugutan ang mga kongresistata na magsirisin-sini, adjournment sine die. What is adjournment sine die? That is the adjournment from the final adjournment of the regular session to the next regular session. That is adjournment sine die. Let's proceed. Anyway, these are reading matters. The Senate. Okay, if you be asked, who are the constitutional officers of Congress? Constitutional officers of Congress are the what? Speaker of the House and the Senate President. Other officers, take note, may also be created by each House, especially when the Constitution allows them to do so, when it says each House shall choose such other officers as it may deem necessary. So ang ibig po palang sabihin, other than these officers, pwede pa silang mag-create ng other officer sa House of Representatives or sa House or sa Senate if in their determination the presence of this officer is still necessary. A majority of such house shall constitute a quorum to do business, but a smaller number may adjourn from day to day and may compel the attendance of absent members in such manner and under such penalties as that house may provide. So still, in our Republican system, majority rule prevails. So for Congress to transact business, it requires a quorum, meaning to say 50% plus 1. No? However, I have already mentioned to you in the passage of the bill and in the approval thereof, does it require the majority of all the members of Congress or of all the members of that House? Yes or no? The answer is no. Majority of the quorum will do. We call that what? Doctrine of shifting majority. We call that doctrine of shifting majority. So because of the absences of these members of Congress or members of the Senate, there is a possibility that transactions or passage of laws may be derailed. That is why, in order to see to it that transactions in Congress will not be derailed, will not be delayed, there is also that remedy provided by the Constitution. And what is that? The attendance of absent members in such manner and under such penalties as the House may provide. So they could provide penalties for those who are regularly absenting themselves, especially in the halls of Congress. Or may even what? May even compel the appearance of the person or of the senator or a member of the House of Representatives just to ensure that the transaction is accomplished. I think, if I am not mistaken, that happened in the case of Avellino versus Cuenco. What is this case of Avellino versus Cuenco? Anybody? What is this case of Avellino versus Cuenco? This has something to do with the ouster of the Senate President, right? Right, and what is that? Oh, Mr. Ano? Could you give us, Mr.
Senate of 24 members, the Senate President, including power, constituted 12. So they said that the decision of the remaining was not actually a majority because it could be 12. But the contention of...
Why? The majority is supposed to be, of the 24 senator, is supposed to be 13. But the ouster was only made by 12 senators. So it was questioned as being deficient of the required majority. Okay, so how did the Supreme Court rule on the matter?
The Supreme Court ruled in favor of the remaining senators because one of the senators was not present during that.
So meaning to say, in favor of the ouster.
No, yes.
Yes, despite the fact that there are only 12 senators who voted for his ouster, that's supposed to be it's 13. Oh, anong sabi ng Supreme Court? It should be the majority of what? It should be the majority of 23. Because the other senator is beyond the coercive authority of the Senate. Beyond the coercive authority of the Senate, so it should be the majority of 13, which is 12. So the ouster is valid because what is only required under the Constitution is majority. So take note. Discipline of members. In this particular aspect, I want you to know this doctrine of necessary implication. It is provided under the Constitution that each House may determine the rules of the proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, and with the concurrence of 2/3 of all the members, suspend or expel a member. A penalty of suspension when imposed, shall not exceed 60 days. Okay. Supposing this provision is not provided in the Constitution, is Congress still allowed to discipline its members? Yes or no? The answer is yes. Kaya po pumapasok yung tinatawag na doctrine of necessary implication. In order to preserve its existence, take note, this particular disciplining authority of Congress emanates from what? Emanates from its power to maintain what? To maintain its existence. Inherent power given to Congress for what? For self-preservation. And for purposes of disciplining a member of the House of Representatives or of the Senate, what rules will govern? What rules will govern? It will be the rules promulgated by each house. Okay? So pag sinabi ng Senate or ng House of Representatives that you are reprimanded, okay, or that you are suspended in accordance with its rules, would that be okay? So sabi sa rule, according to the Senate, this member is suspended for 40 days in accordance with the Senate rules. Would that be okay? Would that be okay? In accordance with the Senate rules. Okay po ba yan? Who says yes? Who says no? Raise your hand. Oh, yes. Mr. Rocco? And that is an absolute yes. You change it? Okay, sige, okay. So there is no question that it may also be subject to the rules of the House because that is a constitutional authority, di ba?
Provided that the proper manner of imposing penalty shall provide the Constitution.
Yes, provided the conditions set by the Constitution should not be relaxed or should be strictly followed. Can he be suspended under the Senate rules? Yes, for as long as it should also be concurred in by 2/3 of all the members of the Senate or of all the members of the House of Representatives. Why? Supposing the required number of votes is not met and still he was suspended, what is that? A political question or a justiciable question? That is a justiciable question because there is constitutional infringement. Take note. There is a violation of the Constitution. Pero, if you are reprimanded because, as I've said, you are sporting a not so nice mustache or not so nice hair, and Congress considers that as a disorderly behavior, would that be okay? Yes or no? We have mentioned last time, despite the provision of Article 8, Section 1, especially on the added authority given to the Judicial Department. But as regards this, considering it involves members of a separate branch, take note, disorderly behavior, its determination is a pure, up to this time, remains a pure political question that lies within the sound discretion of the Congress, the Senate, as well as the House of Representatives. Take note. So disorderly behavior remains a political question, but the concurrence of 2/3 is so required because that is a constitutional provision. But supposing, sabi ng Kongreso, walang appeal dyan. Once we have already what? Once we have already sanctioned you, you are already deprived of remedies of appeal. Would that be okay? Yes or no? Answer, yes, because the Constitution says that they have the authority to promulgate their own rules of procedure. Kaya tingnan nyo sa COMELEC, di ba? COMELEC rules, di ba? Kung minsan iba ang period to appeal nila, di ba? As compared sa rules of court. Kung minsan 5 days lang. Samantalang sa rules of court, sabi daw ilan? 15 days, di ba? Or 10 days, di ba? Because the COMELEC or these constitutional commissions are also given by the Constitution the authority to promulgate their own rules of procedure, especially in conducting their respective proceedings. Okay po yan. Walang problema yan. Ang wag lang pakikialaman itong kondisyon na ibinigay ng ating Constitution, especially doon sa pag-expel o pag-suspend ng member of Congress, and should not be more than 6 days. Journal. Ano ang journal? Journals. What is a journal? Record of what is done in the past in a legislative assembly. Journal. Why? Bakit ba kailangan record? Class, lahat ng transactions ngayon, lahat ng proceedings, kahit sa korte natin, ang ating pong korte, court of records. Pag hindi na ilagay yan sa records, problema ka niyan. So ito din. And for referral also in case of conflict. Why? Are matters entered in the journal conclusive? Yes or no? Yes or no? Are matters entered in the journal conclusive? Meaning say it's beyond review, beyond question. What do you think? Anybody? Is it conclusive? Yes or no? Is it conclusive? Yan ba kayo dyan sa libro? Is it conclusive? Yes or no? Ano nga na, paano tanga na yung pig-unlock, Mr. Conclusive as to matters which under the Constitution have to be entered in the journal. Conclusive as to matters which under the Constitution must be entered in the journal. Bakit? Hindi po ba lahat dapat ilagay sa journal? Or not all? Not all or all? Not all. If not all, what are those which under the Constitution have to be entered in the journal? Anybody? Yes. Those concerning national security. Matters concerning national security. Sabi natin, matters which under the Constitution have to be entered in the journal. So our reference is the Constitution. So involving national security. Could we place that in the journal? Yes or no? Involving national security, should we enter that in the journal? Yes or no? Yes or no? Saan yan papasok? Ilagay natin because this is national security. You will only enter that issue if what? Sabi pagadigdi sa journal, at the request of 1/5 of the members present. Okay? The yes and the no's on any question shall at the request of 1/5 of the members shall be entered in the journal. That's one. Yes and no's on any question upon request of upon request of 1/5 of the members present has to be entered in the journal. That's the first one. What's the second one? The yes and the no when Congress exercise its legislative veto in repassing the bill vetoed by the President. That should be entered in the journal. What else? The veto message of the President must also be entered in the journal. That's the third one. And lastly, the yes and the no's during the third and final reading of the bill. So ilan po? 4. The yes and the no's during the third and final reading. Second, the veto message of the President. Third, the yes and the no's in repassing a bill vetoed by the President. And lastly, the yes and the no's on any question upon request of at least 1/5 of the members present. These are the only matters that should be entered in the journal. And as regards these matters, take note, the journal is considered conclusive. So for purpose of checking how many voted, just check the journal. And that is conclusive. Take note. Kaya baga yes and no. And also, if I am not mistaken, together also with the names of those who voted no, names of those who voted yes, should also be entered in the journal because that will be the basis for purposes of determining whether that particular passage of bill or of law has complied with what? Has complied with not only substantial but also with the procedural requirements. But I also would like, in determining the importance of journal, I also want you to know what an enrolled bill is. Because normally, these two are being distinguished. What is a journal? What is an enrolled bill? And what is conclusive? What is a journal? What is an enrolled bill? Anybody? Ano po ang enrolled bill? Enrolled bill has already the impression of a law. Kaya lang hindi pa natin ma-determine whether it's already effective or not yet effective. But it's already kept. What is an enrolled bill? Yes. According to the book, according to the book,
signed by the proper officers approved by the governor or president, and signed by the secretary of state.
Okay. So, pag sinabing enrolled bill is a bill, has already been passed, signed by the Senate President already, by the Speaker of the House already, was already submitted to the President, and was already signed by the President, and was already kept by the Secretary of the House. So that is already considered an enrolled bill. Practically, sabi ko nga it's already a law. Ano, ang hindi lang natin pinag-uusapan, ang kanyang effectivity. Now, as between enrolled bill and journal, what should prevail? Kung may problema between the journal and the enrolled bill, what will prevail? Would it be the journal or would it be the enrolled bill? Especially as regards, it's the enrolled bill. Specifically on what aspect? It is conclusive as regards the what? As regards the what? The content of the what? The content of the bill. That is why, if I am not mistaken, as found also in your book, we have the case of Casco, tama ba? Tama. We have the case of Casco Philippine Chemical Company versus Jimenez. What is this case? What is this case? As taken from your book. Huwag nyo nang gagamitin yan sa exam. Pag pigamit nyo sa exam, according to the book, deduction of tempo. Lalo na kung sabihin nitong at according to Atty. Castro, ay nako, deduction of 24. Ibabalik pa nindo ako sa sala nindo. O sige, what do you mean by Casco Philippine Chemical Company versus Jimenez? What is this? Anybody who could share with us this case, at least the jurisprudence on the matter? Because we still have the case there, Astorga versus Villegas, right? Also found in your book. Astorga versus Villegas, Casco versus Jimenez. So, Casco versus Jimenez muna tayo. Anybody? Oh, yes. So during the deliberation class in Congress, during the deliberation, what were deliberated, take note, are the raw material, urea and formaldehyde. That was what deliberated in Congress. But when the enrolled bill was passed, what appeared therein is already the finished product, urea formaldehyde. Okay, so ang tanong ngayon, which will prevail now? Is it the journal where what appears, especially in the deliberation, is urea and formaldehyde? Or is it the journal, or is it the enrolled bill that will prevail? Sabi talaga, as regards the tenor of that bill, of that measure, it's always the enrolled bill that will prevail. So it's the enrolled bill, so it should already be the what? The urea formaldehyde. If there is something wrong with that, what is the remedy? You have to go through amending that particular. Yeah. Ano man ining kaso ni Astorga versus Villegas? Ano ang ma-prevail digdig? Journal or enrolled bill? If we are confronted with the issues as to what will prevail, journal or enrolled bill, our position is that it's the enrolled bill that will prevail. Is it happening also in the case of Astorga versus Villegas? Anybody? Astorga versus Villegas? Do we have there the case of Astorga versus Villegas? Yes. And what is that? Hurry up. Mayroon magamo sa mga baterya ka niyo. Karalat. Kaya man pati kumagiro. Anybody? Oh. Anybody? Ano nag-ano na naman si Mr. Ano? Gusto mo mag-recite? Talaka mo. Oh. Oh, anybody? Hurry up. Hurry up. Uy, nariyan na yan sa aklat. Sa likod mo. Miss. Oh. Why? In favor of the enroll bill. Okay. Diskarte niya yan. The conflict should be resolved in favor of the enrolled bill. Correct. If there is still an enrolled bill to speak of. Oh, tama. Position niya. Ay, nako. O, sige. Continue, Miss Ana. Because there are matters that were not considered during the deliberation, but were what? Were present in the enrolled bill. As in fact, when the same was noted, the Senate President as well as the Speaker of the House and the President even withdrew their signatures. Okay. So in this particular case, what will prevail if there is a problem as regards the tenor of the legislation? So tama, it's still the enrolled bill that will prevail. Take note. But the question now is there still an enrolled bill to speak of? The fact that the proper officers had already withdrawn their signature, there is no more enrolled bill to speak of. If that's the case, it's the journal that will prevail. Yeah? Tama pa. Okay. So read the case, please. Casco Philippine Chemical Company versus Jimenez. This is also a very important case, and also the case of Astorga versus Villegas. Adjournment. Please read adjournment. Let's proceed with babasahon ta paning adjournment. Kamu na mabasa. Ano? Adjourns for more than what? 3 days. Nor to any other place than that in which the two houses shall be sitting. So adjournment sine die interval between the session of one Congress and that of another. So take note. Next is electoral tribunal. First question. How many electoral tribunals do we have in Congress? How many electoral tribunals do we have? Very good. Ano? Sabi ni Mr. Ana, pira? 3. Yeah, 3. That's correct. Because my question is, how many electoral tribunals do we have? 3. We have the Presidential Electoral Tribunal, we have the Senate Electoral Tribunal, and we have the House of Representatives Electoral Tribunal. So let's change the question. How many tribunals do we have in Congress? There are 2. We have the Senate Electoral Tribunal, and we have the House of Representatives Electoral Tribunal. Okay. And what is the role of the Electoral Tribunal? Okay, saruun ta. Who composed the Electoral Tribunal? So ito na po, merong legislative component, merong judicial component. So how many shall have An electoral tribunal composing of what? 9 members, 3 of whom shall be justices of the Supreme Court, and 6 of whom are members of the Senate or the House of Representatives. So if it is the Senate Electoral Tribunal, 3 justices, then 6 senators. If it is the House of Representatives Electoral Tribunal, 3 justices, 6 members of the Electoral Tribunal, and their selection is based on their proportional representation of what? As regards the vote of the no, political parties. Political parties. Meron po tayong computation yan. We'll be discussing that later. What is the role of the Senate Electoral Tribunal or House of Representatives Electoral Tribunal? The Constitution is so clear in saying that it's the sole judge. It's the sole judge in all contests relating to election, qualification, and returns of its members. You encircle the member. So if you would want, say for example, we have a regular election, and you want to file a disqualification case as against a what? A candidate running for Congress, where will you file your disqualification case? Take note, he is running for Congress. Say, for example, a member of the House running as district representative. So you are questioning his qualification. So where will you file the disqualification case? Huh? Huh? Why COMELEC, Mr. Tuena? So, okay, that's correct. That's why I ask you to encircle the word member. You can only be considered a member if you are already proclaimed, has already taken your oath, and had already assumed as member of Congress. By that time, you can already be considered a member of Congress. So if you are still a candidate, take note. Where will you file your disqualification case? You file it before the Commission on Elections. Like for example, also President and Vice President. You are questioning the qualification of Fernando Poe Jr. because he is not, according to you, a natural-born Filipino citizen. He's still a candidate that time, di ba? Not yet the president. So where will you file it? File it before the Commission on Elections. A qualification of a candidate for senator, not yet winning, not yet proclaimed, not yet assumed. Where will you file it? File it before the COMELEC. Because the Constitution is so clear in saying that you can only take cognizance once that particular fellow has already become a member either of the Senate or of the House of Representatives. Sole judge. Pag sinabing sole judge, siya lang. So ang gustong sabihin ko kaya, its decision is what? It's not appealable. Hindi mo siya pwedeng i-apila. Hindi mo siya pwedeng i-apila sa Supreme Court by an ordinary appeal. Okay? Yeah. But can you go to the Supreme Court still? Yes or no? Yes, but not by way of appeal, but by original action on grave abuse of discretion. Aram na yun, sir-surare. Aram na. First year pa lang yan, aram na nindang sir-surare. Sir-surare. That's not an appeal, that's an original action. The Supreme Court there, taking original jurisdiction. Okay. Yeah. So, tanungin na natin dahil meron kayong barangay election on October 28. That's the barangay election. Some of you will be running as barangay captain. Naninitig mo. Sabi nga ni Grace Padaka, we prefer, we encourage college graduates and professionals to run in barangay elections. And you'll be asked, nagkaklase ka ba ngaya sa loob? Yun na naman ngaya. Yun nga ginakabo ko. Kaya nga nga kung minsan nag-absent ako sa klase, tabo ko maapot sa recitation. Okay na naman, apotan mo na naman. Supposing SK, di ba? SK chairman and barangay election. If you would be filing an electoral protest against the barangay captain or any of his kagawas or to the SK chairman, where will you file your electoral protest? Where will you file your electoral protest if you will be filing an electoral contest as against the barangay captain or as against the barangay kagawad or at least the SK chairman? Where will you file? So, siyempre, kahit po ang kayang tabang nindo, pakatapos na, gana na. So, siyempre, ranisa nindo si daog-daog, Inot, tawan mo nindo panyo, Pakunaton, paistoryahon. Ay, grabe po kayo ngayon si marakalan, arog ka niya. Mafile po nga kita, attorney, ng electoral process. Attorney na pati apod sa mo. Saan po nga kita mafile, attorney? Saan mo ipafile? Dahil ka mo magsabing, dumang ka po sa pao. Ang pao po, dahil nagkakapot ng mga electoral contest, just for your information. Bawal yan sa amin na magkapot ng electoral contest. Where will you file it? Where will you file it? Electoral protest after election should be filed before the court of limited jurisdiction, and that is your municipal trial. Si mayor, municipal vice mayor, kagawad, where will you file it? File it before the regional trial court. City kagawad, city mayor, city officials, where will you file? File it directly with the Comelec. Okay? I'll give you more next time. What is the attendance?